morning, everybody. It's Chuck N. Baker, another edition of the Veterans Reporter News on KTUD. Got something a little different for you this morning. Sergeant Bryan Battaglia, he is the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. He's the highest ranking enlisted man in the Marine Corps. He paid a visit to Las Vegas and he took a little tour of the new VA hospital that's almost completed over in North Las Vegas. Before he took a tour, he sat down and he spoke with a group of veterans, including myself. He answered a lot of questions about the VA and about the Department of Defense, how they're kind of trying to work together. He also talked a little bit about, unfortunately, in the military, there's an average of one suicide a day. Time magazine even recently did a cover story about that. And he talks about that because the suicides are not necessarily from those who have been in combat or in the combat zone. Here in the States, it's going on as well. Anyway, we talked about the VA, we talked about the hospital. At the end of the discussion, we actually go through the hospital and a VA employee takes over and describes and discusses what's going on in the hospital, how things are being built, how things are being completed there. So basically, we just let the tape roll. It's like I say, our C-SPAN show, so to speak. We're going to take some breaks in between, bring you some commercials, but basically we're just going to let this tape roll. We think you're going to find it very enlightening and very interesting, so don't go away, and let's go to part one.
I am a Marine, of course, by service, but yet represent all services: Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, National Guard, for that matter. And my boss is the chairman. I also advise the Secretary of Defense as well, and so I say that to say to you that you have a conduit while respecting the chain of command that we kind of grow up with in the service for the betterment of all our veterans and the medical and long-term and health care that we all have deserved and rate and now need. And I'll be there one day, Lisa and I, where you are now, and I hope that there's someone that comes behind me with the same sort of agenda and enthusiasm as I'm hoping to bring to you. We're very excited about this facility opening up, and while I'm not sort of a bona fide member of the Veterans Administration, I feel that I am because the very service members that I have now turning over to you, and that turnover is for good, and I know you have their best interest at heart. While things are not exactly perfect, this has got to be a state-of-the-art facility, right? And across the country, we've visited a few facilities, thus far. And as I told Mr. Bright earlier, I really hope that this becomes the model facility that other states will come look at who are interested, kind of partnering with the VA to build a VA medical center in their state as this one here. Understanding that there's probably improvements and modifications in the years to come. So while I didn't really come here to transmit, how about if I go into the receive mode and listen and address any comments or concerns or issues that you have?
Well, I just had a question. So as you said, you're not officially with the VA, but at what point did you know about the facility and kind of take an interest in it?
Well, my interests are in all the VA centers, outreach clinics, the homeless centers, everything that the VA has to offer, and it's just part of the the bigger relationship that you've seen in your time of the segregation that the VA had with the DoD. It was always segregated, and I'm here to tell you that now, and a lot of those efforts done because of Secretary Shinseki. Who's from the Army? So, I hope you're very familiar with General Shinseki.
Yeah.
The guys, we're just so proud to have him, and I've really seen the relationship between the VA and the DoD just grow, and some more growth to take place. And that's going to make life better for everybody else, including you and the veterans that come after. So this is just one of the newer facilities that hoping to see it in action, but obviously, here before the sort of soft opening or official ribbon cutting, and just makes another excuse to come back. But we're hoping, as part of my job in community outreach across the nation, because we have service members that come from every corner of the country, that we hit all the major VA facilities and see how they were doing, make some comparisons, and maybe we share some best practices. That you're doing something so well here, maybe the one in Massachusetts can share or learn from what you're doing.
Chuck and Baker back with the Veterans Reporter News. Sergeant Bryan Battaglia continues his discussion at the VA hospital in North Las Vegas.
And I think the advantage that we have here is that we've got fantastic management. We've had that all along. I'm not going to punch John in the stomach, but he's a pretty decent guy, and we were fortunate that before him we had a director, John Hempel, that anything that we have as problems, we're able to come to them and have them resolved. And I think that's the big success that we have here in Las Vegas area, that we don't have problems that occur most other places, because whenever they raise their head, they're dealt with. And that's an extremely fortunate thing. I have both the VA, I'm a patient at the VA, and I've got outside health care from previous retirements, and I'll tell you this, the civilian medical bit here is not up to par with what we get at the VA.
Okay.
I paid him to say that.
But not enough.
Is there a new VA facility in Louisiana that opened?
Well, ground has been broken.
Ground has been broken.
And it'll be a few years. And I mean, I'm a New Orleans native, so it's my intent off the heels of this visit here to link up, and why not use some of the lessons learned that happened here over the past 6 or 7 years that New Orleans may not have to go through.
You're putting
Katrina,
it above the flood level.
Well, it's on stilts, but if it floods pretty bad, then that'll make a second swimming pool within the facility or something. But yeah, long overdue, because Katrina, of course, took the VA hospital, which was overdue, and it's just time.
We've been waiting on this hospital for a long time. All of our patients out there have really been blessed for this hospital.
Yeah.
We have clinics out there, other clinics that are opened up. We closed some of our clinics, but not all of them, to change the issues on areas where the vets actually live at. We have a program now that's just in a proposal that they're going to be able to have a bus to come pick them up at their home and then drive them over to facilities here. That's just a proposal right now. They're working on that issue. And we have no other problems here. Have you been to Denver, Colorado facilities down there, or any other place in the East Coast?
Nashville.
Nashville?
Was the one that sticks out to me.
It takes them like 3 hours to 4 hours to see a doctor. When they schedule a doctor here, they get them right away. You get them on the phone there. And if we have any problems here, we always contact the nurse advocate, get a hold of them and talk to them. But most of the problems, I know it's not mainly at the hospital, is VA claims. I'm a service officer, and I see claims that should have been passed through a long time ago. And it's the backlog of these claims. But back to the hospital here is when it opens up, it's going to be able to take care of a lot of our veterans here for their disabilities, so they don't have to go down to Loma Linda, do an MRI or a CAT scan or anything, and be located here on this facility.
To reiterate, our local regional transportation system they have already initiated that, where they pick the patient up at his home, bring him to the clinic or the hospital when it opens, and then they return him home. And it's free of charge. This is something brand new in our system.
And it's a must sort of in-person visit.
Yes.
That's something telemed may not.
It's public transit. Public transit. And they also, if he gets referred downtown for a test, they will take him to that location also like that. But one other thing we do here is we think out of the box, we call it. And that's where all these veterans groups, we're united in one front, so that when that patient comes out of the hospital, that we just don't drop him. And there's times when he can't go to work, so we make sure he's got food, we help with rental assistance until he can get back on his feet. In a lot of areas, they don't have this. And it was here at one time, but we've joined in one united front to make sure that doesn't happen anymore in this area. So, and this, I got to say one thing about the medical facility here. They saved my life twice. So they've got very competent doctors, and we operate out of the Northwest Clinic. My unit's in charge of that one, scheduling volunteers, and it is the premium of premiums as far as clinics go. It's amazing. It runs like a DMV where you get a number when you come in, but most of the time before the patient can round the corner, they're calling. And there's no waiting, and we take care of problems on the spot.
That's pretty expedient.
Yes. It's so much improved from years gone by. So.
Welcome back to the Veterans Reporter News. Chuck and Baker, and I'm here to bring you another part of the discussion that took place over at the VA hospital. Sergeant Bryan Battaglia, who is the Sergeant Major of the Marines, the highest ranking enlisted man in the Marine Corps. And let's roll that next part.
You know what I've seen at visiting a few of the larger VA centers that really changed the way folks felt about coming there was parking.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable. Nashville, for one, for the before and after of how, therapeutic in a lot of ways of how a parking garage seemed to make the hospital visit that much more pleasurable. It was unbelievable.
Well, like me, I'm a combat disabled veteran from Nam. And when I was medevaced home and stuff, went to Charlie's house, Walter's house, and then Walter's house to Fort Campbell to Chicago, I laid in the hallway in the VA, Westside VA. So now with the VA and stuff is fantastic. They take care of me real good and everything. The only problem that I have is for the younger troops, how's the DOD and the VA interacting now? Because we had problems with that about 5 years ago with getting claims and stuff going through with with the DOD and the VA. Is that has transpired to anything better?
The relationship is doing great.
Okay.
We just have to let the process change. It's a World War II system that can't operate in today's world. And so what we've done was integrated the medical evaluation process called Integrated Disability Evaluation System. Now all of this is going to brief well here at the table, and it's not. I'm going to lay out a little better than what it is right now because we have some more improvements to make, but it's to expedite the process, not to take a service member and push him or her out so quickly, but to streamline it to where it doesn't take 400 and some odd days of a medical record to be sort of evaluated by some doctors and processed, given a disability, file a claim, and then start receiving disability. It shouldn't take that long. No. Especially for a severely wounded service member, and it is. And there's some places in the bureaucracy where it's getting bottlenecked, and we're beating it down. But we'll get there.
That's good.
I just did an issue on the newspaper in the radio station about PTSD. I had a veteran who's in overseas, just got back from Iraq. Suicidals here in Las Vegas and all over the world is a very, very bad situation that we're under right now in suicidals. I did a whole interview on that. It was on a radio station. I forgot the name of it, but he just got back. In a way that he deals with this PTSD, he writes music for what he has done over there, overseas. So
Okay.
it's a rap music that he has. I have the disc. He gave it to me. The sergeant did. He gave it to me free. He says, you can have this. And I do have it, and I'd like to present that to you today. I got it down in my car.
Okay.
I'll give it to you.
Sure.
What it is that we do have PTSD patients that come in that do want suicidal problems. The thing what I believe in, that they should not be released out of the military until they actually go through a mental stage instead of kick them out right away. I think they should be up to a year of going through. You know, when you go through boot camp, you got 14 weeks. And then when you get out of the military, it's just like us on Vietnam. You're gone.
Right.
You're in combat and you get out, and now you're in civilian world. You're not hitting the grounds no more. And you hear a car go off, of course you're going to hit the deck. Stuff like that. It's the vet that has to deal with it the rest of his life.
And then if we go through some of our reservists, National Guard.
Right,
too.
National Guard.
Because we got these, our 55% of the boots over in the sandbox are National Guard and reserves, and some of these young guys, I'll tell you, it's real bad.
Suicides are bad, sadly, in our military today, and numbers, I'm not proud to say, continue to climb. We haven't cracked the code, and it just, it's a hard one to digest,
Yeah.
because we as military leaders, we get paid to solve problems, and this is just one we can't seem to solve. We don't sort of live in a world thinking that we can eliminate suicide. We know it's probably a part of life in society, and it's going to continue to happen, but we got to reduce it. We just have to, and it's an equal opportunity kind of employer. It's hitting everybody, and so no service is immune to it. The Army is the largest, and the Army is obviously has the most, but our numbers have not been larger. One of my main efforts as the senior enlisted advisor is reducing suicide in the military. More to follow, and I'm hoping to come up with some great ideas, and we can certainly use your help.
Chuck and Baker back with you one last time. Sergeant Battaglia is going to finish up, and then Steve Stern from the VA, he is going to bring you a little discussion about the hospital itself and some of the things going on there and how the hospital was constructed. We think you'll find it very enlightening, so let's roll that.
Well, the big thing is what I feel, I'm sorry, but the big thing I feel is because of the national, see, if you're regular Army, regular Marine and all that, you're geared up more for it. Where if you're, reserves and National Guard that do go, that they had the backdoor draft on that during Bush and everything. And those poor kids, they joined because they wanted to go to college.
Right.
Well, I joined, I wanted to go.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was a different level of patriotism.
Yeah, right. That's what
right?
I'm saying, because you're geared up for it, and you're 24/7.
Yeah.
But some of these guys are just, laying line or something. Next thing they know, they're over there.
Yeah.
But the Reserve, the National Guard, and Coast Guard.
Multiple deployments.
But it's a different military now. It's not the military that we know of. We have different military out there right now.
But
So
would you
when
be
they-
surprised if I told you that over half of the suicides that we have right now, it's troops that have never ever deployed?
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Really?
I never heard of that.
Yeah, see?
Wow. I didn't know that either.
Yeah, me neither.
That's amazing. That must be just
So
society.
we can't kind of write that off as a major indicator as to why the deployment or the stress or potential PTS. It's that they seem to process whatever adversity they're going through in a way that is allowing suicide to be some course of action within their decision making. And you all didn't have that in your upbringing. I don't think,
No.
were raised by your parents.
No, yeah, baby boomers and stuff.
Yeah, you dealt with it in other ways, and suicide wasn't kind of an option.
No.
So, Yeah, we find ourselves on the right side of the incident now, and we're reacting to decisions instead of, making them. Yes, sir.
Okay. Being the grandfather of all this group, I'd like to tell you a story about World War II. When I got out of the service, World War II, I had developed lumps in my side from sleeping on, I told this story to some of the guys already, lumps in my side from sleeping on a German bed that had all the slats taken out to build tunnels. And I developed these bumps. There was no VA then. I had to go to a private doctor and have those lumps removed. And today, look what we have. My gosh. We're so fortunate. I'm so glad that I was in this era of the VA. Thank you.
He's BOW.
And it's efforts and hardships like you all had to go through to why we're here, and can, proudly claim the medical services that we get today. Did I give you one of these?
No, no. Thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thank you so much.
This part of the building, from the outside, you can see this is the 3-story red building. This is the ambulatory care building. What you don't see right now is actually these are fire doors that are closed in the ceiling. This is a 3-story atrium, clear up through the building. Our goal here was to bring natural light into every public space in the building. You'll also notice big wide open corridors. The reason for that, the VA has yet to design a waiting room correctly. That is the pulmonary waiting room. And 3 or 4 bodies. However, out here you will have couches, chairs, TVs. You guys have seen the bubble walls we put into the clinics. That will be all here in the lobby. So the bulk of the seating won't be in a crowd waiting room. It'll be out there where it's more relaxed. I've never understood why we raise your blood pressure before we take it at an exam. Later on, we also mentioned we had some fairly big expansions going on. The 3rd floor, we are remodeling about 15,000 square feet for the Women's Health Center. We're adding 20,000 square feet for the emergency department. We're also adding an administration building and an education building. Before we ever open, we've already got 3 major expansions. The administration building will go straight out this corridor. They'll take that end wall off. It'll connect on all 3 floors, so anybody in the clinic can go directly into the admin building. The reason we need that at all is 8 years ago when we were planning, we knew we didn't have enough clinical space. We redlined 80% of admin out of the building completely. Because I could put my office in a trailer, I don't want to do surgery in a trailer. So we'll be adding the admin. First project you may have ever heard of in the federal government, we were within 3 months of the original opening date. We came in $100 million under budget. So we used that extra money to add the admin building, expand the ED, add the 3.5 megawatts of solar power, and there's still money on the table. So I love it when people say the government cannot open it on time and under budget. I know how to do that.
You set a record.
That is.
Everyone I've done in my career has been that way. I don't believe in messing around. So I pay my taxes too. So again, this whole thing is already going to be under construction for the first 1.5 years after we open. The other thing, we designed the entire building to be expandable and growable because of the way Las Vegas works. At one point we had 6,000 people a month moving here. I think that's going to start again at some point. When we do that, we already have up on 5 West, we have 3 bed units and then a blank unit that's actually built out as offices. We can turn that with a low-level local project into another 24-bed unit. We have space on the 2nd floor where the file room is, with not a reason in the world to have that file room 4 years from now. However, that's another 10,000 square feet clinical space. And the entire building is built to be expanded and added onto. For example, if we take this wall out, we can add 3 more ambulatory care buildings, keep that same corridor system, and never take the building out of service. Our goal for this was a 100-year facility that will adapt and change as we need it to. And I think we got fairly close. I think we got pretty close. So, anyway,
Our ground has been blessed by the tribe.
the
so
land,
you
this
can
is,
expand
and we could put a medical
already
school out
blessed.
here, domiciliary. We're working, I sit on the planning group with the UNLV folks on their new campus. I work with the City of North Las Vegas folks on their master plan. And the goal for this area is a healthcare research education zone for the entire state. That's kind of the long-range goal. They're broke though, so we're the first anchor of it. So.
Hey everybody, when you're listening to the radio, make sure you're listening to the Veterans Reporter radio show every Thursday night from 8 to 9 p.m. on KLAV. That's 1230 on the AM dial. It's the Veterans Reporter radio show with me, Chuck N. Baker. Hey everybody, it's Chuck N. Baker again with a reminder, watch us every Friday morning on Vegas TV at 2:30. Hey, we know it's early, but it's worth watching.